Okay. Hello, guys. Good afternoon. Uh, it's good to have you here again. And first of all, I would like to apologize for rescheduling the class a little bit far away from the usual time that we are familiar with. Okay, so I had to get some things sorted out. Right. Yeah. So we are going to be doing something like super exciting today. Yeah, we're going to be working on validation. Yeah, so be working on form validation today, and this is something that is super important for your projects, right? You wouldn't be able to really build, a really interesting application if you don't learn how to do form validation. Yeah. So, Joy, welcome. Bolus, welcome. Kofi, welcome. And Kareem, welcome. Good to have you here. All right. So we're going to wait for a couple of minutes, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Then we can start fully. But I will just continue talking. Okay. So it's good to have everyone here. And apologies in advance. I am not in my regular space where I stay to create the videos, the tutorials. So it might get noisy at some point. People might walk past me the back. They might open and close doors. So, but just bear with me, okay? All right. Yeah, Peter, good to see you here. Divad, good to see you. Nurani, good to see you. All right. So we're going to kickstart like immediately, yeah, because there are some things that we will do at the beginning that it's something you already know, yeah. So we will just be really quick with that, and let's see what we can do. All right, I'm going to start presenting like right now, and then we can observe everything. Okay, so all right. Now here is FlutterFlow. FlutterFlow is what we're using to build applications faster than ever, right? So this particular tutorial is going to be about how to implement a validation in your FlutterFlow project. I will try as much as possible to give you some explanations that will make a whole lot of sense to you. Yeah, maybe if you've checked this out somewhere else, you didn't really quite get it. So I will try to make it even simpler. That's like why you should subscribe to this YouTube channel. All right, and turn on your notification bell so that you can always learn whenever we put up a tutorial or hold a live class like this. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new project. Let's call it Valido. I always have very cool names for projects. So Valido, so that's like the validating application. So we're going to just use it to experiment on form validation. So I'll click to create blank, and then I'll go ahead and click on next step. It requires me to provide Firebase ID. So I'll go to firebase.google.com. Then from there, I will have access to these. I'll click to create a new project. I will call it Valido. All right. Then I'll click to continue, turn off the Google Analytics. I don't need to waste the resources. Click to create project, wait for a couple of seconds so that it can complete provisioning resources for my project. And then I will get the project ID, put it back, plug it back in FlutterFlow, and then we will be on our way to building our Valido application. So basically, Valido is just always trying to see how we can create or implement validation, especially form validation in our FlutterFlow product. Okay, so let's get right to it. I'll come here to settings, click on project settings, and then I will copy the link, the ID here, and then I'll take it to FlutterFlow and paste it. And of course, if I go ahead and connect now, we will have some errors. Okay, so because we have not added Firebase, Firebase does not have access to these. FlutterFlow doesn't have access to these Firebase accounts. So let's go back here to our Firebase project, go to users and permission, and click to add member. And we'll say Firebase at FlutterFlow io. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn this on. Put it as an editor and click on this and then this. Okay, so like this, we're good. Everything is working fine now. Let's go to here and click on connect. And like this, we will be able to have a success, right? So it's successful. Here, I want us to do maybe it's going to be a form, just basically form. So we don't really need to do authentication. If we need to, I will turn it on. So I'll just click on this to set up a page. Let's call this maybe home. Yeah. So I'll call it home. And then I have to go ahead and auto generate config files. So I click on there and click on generate files. I wait for a couple of seconds and then it will finish up. It does this under a minute. So what are we trying to really create here? We're trying to create to see how to implement form validation when it comes to your FlutterFlow project. And then I will try to explain that in a minute. All right. So let's say this is your form. Let's say this is a page called form, right? And then you want to have some forms here, like a form here with a button that says maybe create account or submit form or something. So let's go ahead and go to widget tree and set it up really quick. So I'll come here, click on add a child to this widget, and then I will say I would like to put it inside a row. So I put it a row, and then I will say text field, search for text field there, click on this. And then quickly, I will go ahead and then do some decoration to my text field. So I will scroll down to input decoration, change it from underline to outline. And then the border here, I'll click on it and give it some form of grayish, maybe something like that. And then I have to go ahead and then, what else should I do here? Let's see, let's give it a border radius. I would like to give it a border radius of maybe 16. I think that's okay. And now I need to just go ahead and give it some padding, right? Let's say 16 from the left and 16 from the right. And for the padding on top, I will give the padding to the row. All right, so I'll just say 16 here. All right, so it looks okay, but I think I want the border radius to be a little bit more curvy. All right, so I'll say 36. Okay, so like this makes sense to me, and I will come here to the input field. Let's call this first label. Let's say email, right? So let's just do like that, email, and then let's say enter your email here. Enter your email here. This is like the hints text. Okay, so like this works. Okay, so I think this is okay for me. I don't know. It still looks so. It looks a bit weird. So I say 8. Okay, yeah, I think I prefer something like this. So let's duplicate this. I just clicked on the widget, the row, and did Control D, and it duplicated. So here for this one, I will say password. Okay, so let's say enter your password here. Okay, so password here, can say dot, and then change this from email to password. Okay, so we have it like this. We're good. The next thing we just need to do is to add a button that will complete the actions. So I'm adding a button here, and first of all, I didn't ask you if you guys could hear me. I'm stopping to share now. Please, can you guys hear me? I forgot to ask. Please let me know if you can hear me. Ben, welcome. Bami, welcome. Basit, welcome. Ayomiko, welcome. And okay, so you guys can hear me. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. All right, so I'll go ahead and then present again. I just wanted to be sure that everyone could hear me. Let's see. Okay, so this is us. Let's go ahead and then change the width to 360. This is just something that I know you already know how to do. Padding here, let's say 16. All right, guys, so we're ready to start some form validation here, right? So if I go ahead and click on this, you will see how it looks like. The form looks a little bit good now. Yeah, this is it. Looks sweet. Yeah, so that's like the idea. So the idea is for us to be able to click this and something happens. All right. So basically for form validation, if the user doesn't feel something here and doesn't feel something here, this button should not be activated, or it should prompt this user that, okay, you need to feel something here. It should show some things that lets the user know that, okay, something needs to be put here. I will just show you some basic stuff, and you can carry on from there. Okay. Let's see what we can do. Let's see the very first way of validating your forms. Okay, so let's start with, let's not call this button, let's say create an account or something. Yeah, so create account. Yeah, so since we're using email and password, not like submit. We don't want anybody to submit, so it has to be done through a validated process. So let's say create an account. And how do we go ahead from here? What we are going to do simply is, let's first of all look at the properties of this button, right? So here, if you come down here, for every single widget you have in FlutterFlow, on the right hand side is the different properties, like the different things you can tweak or manipulate to get your application working the way you want it to work. So let's come down to there's a place here that says button disable options. All right, so this is what we haven't talked about before, and that's what is going to happen right now. That's what we want to talk about. So let's go ahead and turn this on. So of course, something shows here. It tells you already that um, this is like some form of events that you can manipulate, right? So you can try to click here and then do some things. So let's see. Here we have the disable color is, it says here black. Okay, it's not set. So let's use gray as a disable color. It has to be something grayish, maybe something like this. All right. So yeah, something like this. And text icon color, let's just forget about that one. So let's try to see something first. Let's come here and go down to constraints, right? So here you see constraints, and let's just turn these let's turn it to true. Okay, so if it is true, it means this button should be disabled. You see here, I turned it on, so now I'm saying it's true, so disable the button. All right, so I haven't given it any condition. I'm just like fixing it. All right, not from any variable, but from specific value. All right, so the specific value here is just to click and say true. All right, so if I go ahead and test it right now and just preview it, I will see that the button is oh, that button is supposed to be disabled. Let's see. Hold on. Preview in UI Builder. Okay, so this is how it's supposed to be. Why is it not turned on? Okay, so let's see. Button disable options, true. What happened? Why didn't it? Okay, I will have to try that again. It's supposed to be like the color that we have seen in the preview UI builder. Okay, yeah, so I think it works now. So this is how it looks like, right? So it's disabled, and not just disabled, right? You can click it. You see, it's down. You can click it. You can click on this ones, but you can click on the create account. All right, so that is just for us to, like, we did it by forcing it. We are forcing it to be disabled. But now, of course, we want to use some conditions to to tell whether or not to disable this button. So, but now you've seen that a condition has to be made inside this particular place, and it has to be true for this button to be disabled. Okay, that means if at all we want to set up a logical condition, right, we have to make sure that the result of that logical condition comes out true, even if it's like two scenarios. Okay, so because like this, now we have two scenarios. This is a scenario, this is another scenario. That means this particular scenario has to be true for that condition to be true. All right, and this scenario too has to be true for that condition to be true. So something like that. So let's try to just like implement it now, instead of just fixing it, like fixing the condition here. Let's go ahead and then just remove this. All right, so I remove this, and then I will go ahead and click on this. And what I want to do is I want to set conditions. All right, so this is always going to logical conditions. So I'll click on conditions. I want to set a single condition. All right, so I'll click on single condition. Now I am going to go ahead and fix in the first value of the condition. So I will say, I'll click here and say, then I'll come here. I need to go ahead and then do certain things. I will be using the widget state, for instance. So if I come here, all right, and I think if we do it like this, we will run into some troubles. But let's try it first and see if it works or not. I want you to see it. So the idea is, first of all, for me to say, let's go ahead and click on this and say, if text field, all right, so I just want you to see it, is equal to, all right, so we can say equal to, but we can, the condition that we're supposed to really use is if text field is set and not empty, preferably actually we're supposed to use this, is set, is not set, or is empty, all right, then something should happen, right? That means something is happening in this scenario right now. But this is not going to work because this is not how to do it. Really, this is not how to do it, because the text here, the data type for our text field, for either of the text fields that we have, the email or the password, is just a string. It's not a boolean. So we need to go set up a situation whereby we can produce a result as a boolean, right? So this is not what we're going to do. Instead, we're going to go ahead and click on this, and then what do we do? Okay, so what do we do? We'll just go ahead and say conditions, single conditions, and then let's go ahead and then do some things. Now, I think, am I missing anything? No, I'm not. So I look at what I did. Let me cancel it and take it back so you can see. Let me remove this. So I clicked on onset, and then I went to single condition, right? And then I went ahead to single conditions here. And when I'm trying to set the values, right, I didn't just go ahead and set the values here, all of them. I clicked on insert again, and then I came here, and then I actually went ahead to do a conditional scenario. All right, so here I will say if, all right, I want to do some form of if and else statement. Let me pull this away. I will say if, I will come here and say if what? If the widget state, that's the text field, all right, if the text field, let's say, let's go ahead and then choose some value here. Okay, I think we have missed out something. What did I miss? Okay, we're supposed to say that if the text field, and then pick out a particular value for it. The value here is supposed to be, let's see, conditions. No, that's not the idea. Okay, so I think I have to go back a bit here and then do it another way around it. Okay, so let's try it. Let's go ahead and then try it like this. If the, where is it? The text field, all right. No, I'm not getting the options I'm supposed to get. Okay, so I think there's something wrong somewhere, but I'm not getting. I think I'm missing out something. And okay, so the idea is I'm supposed to like say if, like set a particular condition and say if the text field value, all right, is not empty, right, then something should happen. But it's not. I'm not seeing it. Just give me a second. Let me troubleshoot it immediately. Hold on. I'm gonna stop sharing quickly. Okay. Just give me a second. have to try to troubleshoot it quickly. Okay, so I think I just figured out what I had missed from my previous project. Okay, so I just quickly present again. So I think it was just a scenario of, let me start all over again. Okay, so we're supposed to use combined conditions. Okay, conditions. We're supposed to use a combined condition, not a single condition. That's like the mistake I made. So we want to have like two different situations, right? So this single condition is just for a single condition. That means it will not favor any other thing, right? So we're supposed to use a combined condition here. And then technically, if you go ahead and try to use a combined condition here, you would be tempted to try it in two ways. You might be tempted to try to say, uh, let's go to widget, for instance, and say text field. So text field, and or maybe you want to go ahead and pick another one and say this widget state, and then you go for the password. This is one way not to try to do it. It's not going to work at all. So what we need to do here is we need to go ahead and then like set some conditions for our project. And okay, so let me pull this away and delete it all over and just start. Okay, so here I'll just go to conditions and say combine conditions, and then I will click in here, and then I will go ahead and then give it this condition, give it a condition here. So if let's try this one out first, and if it works, then we can try. Yes. All right. So I think this is the one that works. So when you're trying to, set up this whole validation scenario, you have to go ahead and then use a combined condition. And then here you come here and then click on condition. And you want to now go ahead and set up single conditions for each of the scenarios that we have. All right. So here we will say the first value here is going to be our the widgets that we have here. So we pick the email, for instance. So here it's more like we're checking if email is equal to, so we have here double equal to sign. It's more like trying to say if this is another way of saying equal to completely, like this particular side has to be the same as the other side for a complete situation to be true. Okay, so we have text field here has to be equal to. We don't want it to be equal to, right? We just want it to either we want it to be a set and not empty, preferably. But I like, if you want to follow the, should I say, best practice, you're supposed to use this particular one that says is not set or is empty. All right, so I will try to do a recap of this at some point, right? So I will go ahead and then click on confirm there. And then now I need to go ahead and then do another one, right? So the very first condition here is for the email field. And we had to use combine multiple conditions or combined conditions because we wanted to create a scenario for both the text field for email and the text field for password. So let's go ahead and set it up for password now. So you click here, and then you come to conditions, single conditions, and then the first value here is going to be your go to widget state, and then we say password. The same thing we did to the other one, we'll do the same here. So it's not going to be equal, so it's going to be it's not set or it's empty. So here we're trying to say that it should return some form of value, let's say true. All right, when when if this particular field is not set, all right, and or is empty, something like that. Okay, so we go ahead and then click and confirm. So now we have two scenarios that says for the first part here, text field for email is not set. That means nothing is there or is empty. All right. And then the second condition is the text field for password is not set and is also empty. All right. So don't forget the whole idea, the whole reason for us to do all of this thing is because we want to make sure that the result of what appears here, not like the later or something, but the result of the scenario that appears here where we have unset is a true scenario, because it's only when it is true that this button will be disabled. Okay. And let's go ahead and then click on confirm, and then we will try it again. Of course, we're going to run into some errors, and of course we'll fix it. Okay, so here we have this is showing us the thing, but now you observe we have not typed anything at all, right? And it is not appearing, like it's not giving us what we need to see. This button is totally not working, it's still disabled. So let's go ahead and just click close this, and I'll close this, and I'll show you why. Now, the reason is because it's using some sort of state, right? Because we need to make sure that these fields, when a user gets to type inside this text field, it has to, like, the page has to upload itself, like maybe reload or something. Not like reload, but it's just going to uh, like rebuild the page and present it to the user, taking into consideration all the different logics that has been implemented for just this form. Okay, so we will have to scroll down, and then we will look for a particular button here for the text field. Let's see. We need a button that is going to be let me see, where is it? Autocomplete, autofill, update page and change. Okay, so I think this is the new name, right? So FlutterFlow gets to change it a lot, right? It changes a lot of things, like it's like changing itself frequently. So we'll say update page. So we want to update page, but we don't want to make it 2000 seconds. We just want to, let's try 100 milliseconds. Okay, sorry, that was 2000 milliseconds. That's 2 seconds. So we don't want to make it, we don't want it to wait until it's 2 seconds before it changes the page. So we want it to change the page, frequently, like at a shorter time. So we will put this as 100. And that means when the user types in something, it's going to delay for 100 seconds before it updates it. That's like the idea. So because there's a change when the user does something on this form. Okay, so we'll do the same thing for the text field. Let me come here and update page and change. Let's change it to like 100 seconds, 100 milliseconds. Okay, then let's try it again. And this time around, we will just look at it. The button might still be disabled, yes, because we had previewed it. We had turned on the preview UI builder. Okay, so this is still not going to work until we turn off the other preview UI builder. Let's see how we can do that. So we click on the button here and scroll down, and then we will see here. So the preview in UI builder is what we see here, right? So let's go ahead and then turn this off, and then really try it. I hope this is not going to require me to test it only on the run. I think it's going to require me to test it on the run. Well, it doesn't work, and it doesn't preview in real time with the preview UI builder. Well, that's not fair. Okay, so no, that's not fair. Okay, so basically, I think what we need to really do, we need to run the application. We're going to have to run the application. So let's go ahead and run it. And while we are running it, I will try to like make a recap of all the things that I have said. Okay, so what we have been trying to do is like create a validation, like a form validation, all right? And simply put, when your user doesn't type in something here, but wants to go ahead and click on create account, they shouldn't be able to do that. Because if they can do that, that means they will put some empty information in your database. And in as much as there's no content stored in these empty fields, but I think over time, if it accumulates like that, your application could run into some problems. So it's better that you set up your form validation successfully, so to avoid any form of discontinuity in the progress of your application during, let's say, production mode, for instance. Okay, so what do we really do when we are trying to validate it? First of all, I tried to show you that if you click on just the button itself and then you scroll down, you will be able to see a button here that says, not a button, a feature here that says button disable options, and then you have to turn it on. And then when you turn it on, and we have to just make sure that the value that is inside displays is true. So I think our Valido app has finished running. Let's try to test it quickly, and then I can come back to explain it. All right, so guys, you see now the button now it's disabled, right? Because that's what we did. The condition that we have set here is currently true, all right? Because the user has not typed anything here, and the user has also not typed anything here. So, but now there is going to be a scenario, right? If I go ahead and then type something like Y now, right? We have that the button is activated, but that's not supposed to be the case, right? We are supposed to make sure that the user types something here and type something here as well before we activate this. So, and that is what we are going to talk about now. Of course, it's just here. If I type here, it activates, but it's supposed to only be activated only when both fields have been filled up. So, but the problem with that is something I will try to explain, but let me just go back to the recap I was trying to make. Okay, so for a button to be disabled, right, you need to put a condition here that equates to true, all right? And it's only when that condition is true, that's when the button is going to be activated. Now, when we type in something here, one of the condition is true. And as a result of that, both conditions now become true because we're using if and something else. This is like some mathematical thing I wouldn't like to go into detail with, but I will just show you what to use, and it might try to like help you out in the whole scenario. Let's come back here. I'll click inside this. Let's look at the conditions we were trying to set. So we said we had like place two conditions here. We use a multiple condition. All right. So later in a later time, you can rewatch the video to catch what I was saying. Okay, so here is the condition that says if the text field, technically that's what it is, if the text field is unset or is empty, all right, so make this condition true. So if you've told you've done mathematics or further mathematics, you can remember in some scenario in your class where you were learning something like if T and T is equated to T, right? So that's like the idea. So even if it's T and F, right, that's true. And by the and, I mean the and that we have here. So if this is true and this is false, the overall result is going to be true. That's just how it is. It's mathematics. All of this computer programming and setup and everything is based on mathematics, right? So it's also respecting the same rule here. So if this particular part is true and this particular part is false, the whole result is going to be true. That's why we have a condition here that becomes true. But now if this is false and this is false, then definitely this is going to be false. All right. Right. Yes, this is going to be false. And so for us to fix this error, right, we just need to go ahead and then use this other condition that says or, because for this condition to equate, for these two conditions to equate to true, all right, that means both of them have to be true. That's like the idea. So I'll click on confirm, and then we will run the application again and see how it works. All right, so this is the very first build that when we type something in, it shows. All right, I will compare it to what we are like currently trying to achieve here. All right, sorry about my background, really sorry. Okay, so we're going to just wait for a couple of seconds and then you will see what happens here. Okay, so let's see. what for the meantime, let me try to explain this again. So what I did here was simple. Let me go ahead and then bring another button entirely so I can try to explain it. So should I bring another button? Yes, let's just bring another button. I'll click to add another button. Now this button is not to confuse you. I just want to go ahead and then do the same thing again without tampering with this one. So this button, I will give it another color, maybe this one, and fine. And I will give it 360 as the width of the button. Give it some padding here, 16, just to be a little bit far. I just want to redo the whole thing again without having to change the entire project. So just to give an action to this, not an action, like to set this whole thing, okay? So let's come down here to here and say create account, create account, account. Okay, so that's it. And all right, this is how we have it. Now, for you to make this button disabled, the very first thing I said was just scroll down here and then turn on the disable option here. Our application is done running, but I wouldn't want to interfere with what I'm explaining now. And then the next thing you need to do is go ahead and then make sure that the condition, set any condition you need to set and make sure that the outcome is true for this to become really disabled. So what did we do? We went ahead, and since we have like two fields here, right? We have two fields here. We went ahead and then clicked on conditions, and we want to do a combined condition. So we'll click on here, and then after that, what we do next is go ahead and start setting conditions for the individual scenario. All right, so I'll click in here and then go to condition and set a single condition for it, and say the first value here will be the widget state for text field, right? And then I'm now trying to say that this text field is not set, or I want to check that this text field is not set or empty, and then after that I return it to what we have in this other side. So basically that's it. So if it checks and says that it's unset and it's empty, it returns this place as true. And then the same thing with the password. It comes here to we come here, we go to condition, single actions, and then we go ahead and then do the same thing. Click here and then pick the widget state, which is going to be password this time around. And then we're not saying equal to, we're saying it's not set or it's empty. And then we go ahead and set it. And of course, we have to use or just to make sure that it's only when the two situations are true that we want to be able to get a final result here. All right. So that's like the idea. Okay. So I hope that that recap made sense. Um, I think I don't need to rerun it. I can just rerun it while we're testing the other one, so we can just see what's up. So this is the what we did, and now of course it's disabled. Fine. If we go ahead and then say email, you see it's working now. So we put email here. One condition is true, but now we use an or operation. All right. And it requires that the two conditions have to be true for it to produce a result that is true. And that's just like how it works. So if I go ahead and then type, let's just go ahead and type the correct thing. Let's say Nocode hq@gmail.com. All right, then I click here and I begin to type password. That's when we now have it become bluish. That means it's not activated. I can really create an account. Okay. So of course we've not set up anything. We've not set up any action. So we can't really create an account. But this now shows you that, okay, yeah, you can add an action to it, because initially nothing shows here. This is not clickable. See, my cursor is different. This is a hand, and when I remove it, it's just a normal cursor. And of course the hand shows you that it can be clicked. This one, it cannot be clicked. So I hope you've seen the difference, and I hope you understand. This one is also done running. There's no need to check that. Okay, so far you have learned the one way of doing a form validation. Let's go ahead and then try something else that is a little bit intense and a little bit tricky and hard. Not so hard, but you will understand. Okay, let's let's go ahead and then try something else. So here I want to I'm going to go ahead and then let's just do something. Let's go ahead and duplicate this page. Let me duplicate this page, and this is going to be this is home, but let me call this home, maybe home 2. This is another page entirely. So I will click on this and just delete this, right? So I click on this. I want to go and delete what I have done here, and I'll just turn this off, right? So and I just want to, we're not trying to disable a button this time around. We want to just flag and tell and let the user know that, okay, a particular field is empty, or just show them a particular, maybe make the color, the border of this text field to be red, if at all they haven't typed anything inside and they want to submit the form. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that. So first of all, we're going to use something called the the app state, right? So we will come here to app state. So this is app state, and we're going to create a state for it. All right. So basically, you use your app state when you're trying to define variables you want to store on the device across different pages. That's like the idea. And let's go ahead and add a particular, what is that? What did I just click? Add a state variable. Yes, add a state variable. So let's say this is going to be email. Email. Should I say email? Email what? Email state. Maybe email state. And of course, it's not going to be a string. It's going to be a boolean. All right. So we change it to a boolean because we are basically playing around with true or false. All right. That's why we need it to be a boolean. So the data type is a boolean, and then we give it like that. And let's create another one for the password. So we'll say password state, and it's not a string, it's a boolean, and we'll click on create, and like this we're good. Okay, so let's go ahead and then quickly do some setups, and we'll be on our way to finishing our class. This one might take a little longer, but not too long. Let's see how we can get it done properly. Now, if you come to, let's come to this border, all right? And then, of course, the properties of the border. Let's come to the properties of the text field, really. So let's come to, where is it? So we have a border color here, border color. And let's say, should it be our border color, focus border color? Let me see. Let me give this focus border color a red and see how that looks like. Okay, so let me see. Let's preview it and just see what happens. Okay, so all right, so this is a focus border color, and then the other one is like the real border. Okay, so I think this is what we should use, not the border itself, because it will make our application ugly. I will explain what I mean. So here is this is a text field, and then we set the focus border color. This is the focus border color, all right? And we've set it to red. We want to be able to use these to show the user something, all right? If at all they don't fill the form properly, or they've not filled it at all, then we'll show the users the color, red, of course. Red shows there's a danger, there's a problem, it needs to be fixed. So let's go ahead and come to the second one, password field, and also do the same thing. Let me see, focus border here, and then I'll pick this color, red. All right, so if we go ahead and then preview it again, we will see that, let me close this one. We will see this. So this is focus border. I click on this. So when you're focusing on this, it shows this. When you're focusing on this, it shows this. All right. So basically, we want a situation whereby when the user tries to click on this, right, and if at all this place is empty, it will show red. It will show red, and of course, nothing is going to happen here. And if this place is also empty, red, and it will not allow these things to go ahead. All right, so let's go here and try to see if we can achieve that. I hope we can. All right, so let's see, what do we do from here? Let's go ahead and then set some conditions that will produce like Boolean results for what we have done so far. Now let's go here to the focus border color. When do we want the focus border color to show? Let's go ahead and set it first. Then after that, we will go ahead and set up what should trigger it to show. All right. So let's click here and say now we want to set up some things. It's going to be, I think it's going to be some conditions, right? Yes, we want to set up some conditions. So let's say, which of them did I select? Okay, this is the first one. So I click on this to give it, we don't want it to just come, how do I put it? We don't want it to just appear on its own, right? We want it to appear from a condition, all right? So I'll click on conditional value and I will say if, right? So if something happens, then show the color, right? So I will go ahead and then say if, um, should we do, we don't necessarily need to use a combined condition here. Let's just do it individually. So we click on this and then we go to app state and then we pick the email state and say if email state, all right, then produce this. So this is like saying if email state is true, yeah, we don't really have to go turn on something and say true. So if email state is true, that means if there's something inside it. All right, so then is that what we mean? Let me see. If email, then this. Okay, so I think we'll just set it up first and see what works. If it doesn't work, we will come back to it. Okay, so let's see. If email status here, let's give it a color. Let's say this. All right, and then let's else, what should we show? Let's go ahead and just leave it the way it was. Let's leave it unset. Okay, so else unset, just leave it there. That means it will be empty to not have a color. Okay, so we click for that. If then else condition. Okay. I hope I'm getting that right. Okay, so let's go ahead and then click this. If we have any errors, we will go back and fix it. I like fixing it that way. So let's come here and then click on this and then give it a conditional. And then here we will be picking the app state for password state. All right. And then we will be setting it to red as well. So we're doing it individually. And if this condition comes out, right, so go ahead and then do this, else just leave it the way it was. That means, yeah. So let's see. Okay, now if we go ahead and preview, it's we're not supposed to really preview yet because nothing is supposed to really happen. If it happens, it's just because we have to go ahead and then clear like what we had before, because we need a trigger for these to actually work. So let's go ahead and clear what we did at first, because that was just me trying to like explain something. Where is it? Okay, so I think I have, if this is this, then let's see. All right, so I think I am making a blunder. All right, it's not working. All right. This is I think I have flawed a little bit there. Um, okay, so I think I did miss some things. All right, give me a minute. Let me try to check out what I had missed. I will stop sharing briefly. Okay, so let me just try to catch up with where I missed. Okay, I'm checking my previous project to just confirm what I had missed out. Okay. I hope you guys are actually enjoying what I'm doing, like learning, like, because you will have to be able to implement this in your project for your application to look nice, right? So with that, you with this knowledge and information, right, you will be able to create something really nice, like really nice for your project, right? So let me cross check this. Okay. exactly on the right track, but I made some few errors, which I will show you. Okay. All right. So I think what I had done earlier on was I wasn't supposed to have fixed that initially. So I will just try to correct that. Let's try to delete it totally. By deleting, I mean we have to take off what I had done earlier. Let's see. How can I? Okay, so I think what I'll just do here is remove it totally. Um, yeah, this is correct actually. Remove it. Let's remove it. Okay, so I think the problem is with what we have here already. There's an original, like a background. This is the problem. So I have to clear that first, then come here. Yeah, that's the problem. And I can clear that without deleting all of this. So let's go ahead and just remove it and then clear this. This was the problem. Okay, so let's go ahead and then like set it up all over again. Yeah, so I'll click on here, and then what I want to do is um it's the basically you can use the focus border or the border color, anyone works, but let's try to set it up for focus border. Is it a focus border? I think we should use the border color. Let's use the border color. And if that's the case, will this work like that? Let's just try it out, I think. Let's click on this and say conditional. So this is the real color, so conditional now. Okay, yeah, I think that should work. So let's come here to conditional, and then we will go ahead and then say if we go pick the app state for email state, and then we will give it the color red, right? Yes, yes, we're good like that. And then we can leave it here, or we can just give it white color. I think this color might be the white, or we leave it the way it was. Anyone works really. So white color. Okay, so I think white color. I will have to, let me just say Control Z. Take me back. Taking me back. All right, so if this is true, then show this, else then show this. Okay, default variable value, we don't really want to concern ourselves with that. Let's go with the password now and see what to do. So we'll click on this and say conditional, and we pick go to app state and pick the password state, and then we'll fix the password, the color to be red, and let me just leave this one here and see what's gonna happen. Right, leave it like that. So here, if we go ahead and test this, we shouldn't see any results. Right, let's leave all this is all our products. If we test it out, nothing is going to happen. Right, so here it is, nothing is happening, nothing is happening. So the reason is because we need a trigger to be able to update the state and then show all of this. All right, so let's see how we can rebuild that. If we come here and then we click on create account, this is going to be our trigger. We have set some conditions. So guys, so we have set some conditions. We've set like we've set a condition here, but now every condition requires some form of trigger. Like something has to trigger the condition to be true. All right, and then from there it works. So let's go ahead and then see what we can do to create a trigger. So here's what we're going to use in creating a trigger. We click on create account, and then we go to add action. This is where it gets a little bit nice, right? Yes, this is where it gets nice. So I will click there, and then what am I going to do? I will just go ahead and then open the should I say, this is the action flow editor, and just delete this. Yes, delete. I want to create conditional action. All right, so I'll click on conditional action, and then I want to set a single condition true first, right? And let's set the condition, right? So is it going to be a condition or a conditional value? if then. Let's see which one it's going to be. So if it's going to be a single condition, we'll say, now what condition are we trying to set right now? We want to set to see if the value, like the app state is empty. If the app state is empty, then we want to go ahead and update the local state of that app state and set it as true. Okay, so if it's empty, and then if it is not empty, we will set it as false, of course. So let's try it first, then we will check it out. Now let's go ahead and this is like the trigger scenario, guys. So I'll click on unset, and then I'll go here and pick the email state, and then equal to let's say it's not set, it's set. So I think I'm gonna say is set. All right, so okay, so I think some things are changing here. So if email state is not set, or should we say equal to? If email state is equal to specific value, I think this is what we should use actually, guys. So I have different ways around this thing, but I think in this situation, let's go ahead and then use this particular scenario that I want us to use. Okay, so now we just want to go ahead and set a first condition first, right? First condition that says if email state is equal to, like, is equal to true, that means it has been fixed, like it has a value, something is inside it. All right, then set it as true. Okay, something like this. So we're giving it a specific value, so we confirm. So it now says if email state is equal to true, then we need to go ahead and give it some action. Like what should happen if email state is true? That means if it contains something. If email state contains something, let's say, let's go ahead and then update. Let's add an action here and say update. Let me click here and say update update app state. So we're updating the app state and we want to add the field. So we click here and we have to choose the email state. It's a Boolean. So after you click on that, you click in here, you want to select the update type. We want to set a value to true. So now hold on, guys, let's look at it again. So if email state is true, right? So that means if something has been entered into the email, right, the email field, okay, then we want to update the app state to true. And when we update the app state to true, whatever had connection with the app state that required a true scenario before it happens will be activated. So let's go ahead and just see it. I hope it makes sense. And then, of course, if it is false, I set this to true. Let's click on this and say add action. So we have to update this local variable again, update the app state. It's also called a local state. And then it's still going to be the email state this time around. So this is for the condition where it is really true. That means this condition is really, really true. But if this condition is actually false, so what happens? We will go ahead and then update, set value to false. Okay, so false. And let's go ahead and close this. I want us to run it first and see if it works. So let's go ahead and then just run it. And then after that, I will try to talk with you guys and see how it's going. If you're getting like a hang out of this, so we can, because I think after this, we just need to go ahead and create for the password field. And then we're done with the class. So let me stop sharing and see how we're doing. So I think we are still okay, so Burrell, it's good to see you here. All right, Burrell, it's really nice to have you here. Okay, so okay, what am I gonna talk about now? So let's see. Karim said, could you share the project with a public link for clone? Okay, so I think Karim, you've asked me for this before, so I will do that. I will try to I will create a clone, like make it clonable and then share it. Okay. Are you asking me for the entire project or just Yeah, okay. I'll share it. I'll just share it maybe after the class. So Chica, so yeah, Chica, you will have to like rewatch it from the beginning just to catch up, right? I hope you watch it from the beginning so you can like catch up. It's like super important for your project. So guys, we've done 1 hour. Our project is done running. Let's go ahead and then check it out. And then we will close, I think, in 10 minutes if nothing has broken. If something is broken, we will have to try to fix it. All right, so let's go ahead and then check it out. And this is our project. Okay, why is it like this? Ah, oh, come on, guys. This is a huge challenge for me. It's running the very first. Of course, this is how it's supposed to be. Why didn't I even think about it? It's running home one. It's running this home part here, right? So it's showing this, and we were playing around this, right? So, um, okay, we don't need these to happen again. I was just keeping this. Okay, so I think let's go ahead and let me just go to settings and say app details. Yes, entry page is going to now be home too. I'm so sorry. This is what I should have done. I didn't think about it. This is supposed to be the entry page. So let's go ahead and just run it again. So we have to wait for another 2 to 3 minutes and watch these play out. Okay, so while that is happening, I can go back here and try to do some explanation for this particular project that we are like another way of validating, right? So what we are trying to do here is, first of all, we created an app state. So we come here to app state, and then we added a state variable, right? So we created a state for our email, like the email state, and we made it Boolean. And we also did the same thing for password state. And then when we finished that, we went ahead and then gave some conditions for the border of these text field, right? So if you scroll down here, you'll see that we have some conditions here for the border color. Don't forget, we had already fixed an initial border color. That's why if you go ahead and check it out like this, it will show you, it will still give you the color. You see here, it gives you the color. But now we want it to show us a color red when a particular condition is not being met or is being met, depending on the logic that we write. So here we went ahead and then did some if and else statement. And so we said, this is done. So we said if email, happens to be true, then present this. That means if there's something inside it, all right? If there's, is that the case? Before I try to explain it, let's see how it works first. Okay, so let me see. Where is it? This is not the one. This is the one. Okay, guys. So we have this now, and observe. We have. Okay, so guys, I want us to observe what is happening. If there is no, if there is if everything is fine, all right, if everything is fine, it should give us a white border. Have you seen what is happening? It gives us a white border. Let's go back to the logic. So we said if the email state, right, uh is fine, like if the email state is true, that means, wait, I think I'm mixing it up a bit. But now we have, let's look at it. Let's start from here first to explain it. So we have a white color here. That means that if this particular scenario, all right, is empty, right? So we should have a color here. We should have the color red if it's actually empty, right? And then otherwise, let's have this. But now we're having the white thing here. Let's go ahead and type in something. Even if we type in something, it doesn't show anything. Okay, so I think we're mixing some things up. I am mixing some things up. Well, why am I not able to? Okay, so this is not showing, and this is showing. Let's see. If I try to, let me take this off. Let's just do reverse engineering and understand what we did. Let me click on this. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. We have made some blunders, right? This should be a blunder indeed. Okay, so let me try to interpret this. Okay, so usually all this logical statement is always like a complex thing, and sometimes it's very easy for you to mix it up and miss out some things. So I'm trying to figure it out from reverse engineering. So we have this. No, let's say oh, and this is also not working. Okay, I am going to go ahead and refer to my other product and see where I messed it up. I'm gonna stop sharing now. Hang in there. Okay, so I will just go through my previous project and confirm a few things. Okay, this happens to not really be so much of my strong points, right? Yeah, but I am trying so hard to make sure that I try to explain it simply so you guys can understand it. Um, okay. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on, guys. Okay, I'm gonna get it. Okay, so I think I have figured out where I mixed it up. Okay, so let's see. All right, so let's see. Even had to go ahead and check another external resource. Really. Okay, so this is basically what teachers go through. Sometimes they make mistakes and they try to find ways to fix it. Okay, so I did check out some extra resources, right, just to make sure that I find ways to get us unstocked. Um, let's see. I think where I got it wrong is in the logic behind it. I think we got it right here. We got it right with what we did here, right? Yeah, this is fine. This is pretty fine. Okay, so else leave it as this. I might come back to change this to something else, but that's still okay. We just want it to work first, and then this also works. Um, okay, so the problem here is actually what we did in the action flow editor. This is not what we should have done. Like in essence, we're not supposed to fix it up like this. Let's click to change it, and the problem here is. Let me go ahead and I think I will just, if I delete this conditional, it deletes all of this too, right? So I just wanted to change just this one. Let's see, let's click this to edit. Now we are not supposed to go to the app state. I think this is where I mixed it up. Yeah, we're not supposed to go to the app state, right? We're supposed to go to the widget state really. So the widget state, we're supposed to check for the text field, and then of course check for the password field. That's like the idea. So not the app state. So let's go ahead and then just go ahead and then let's go ahead and try this now. Okay, now this is not gonna work. Let's just delete all of this and create the conditional flow again. So here we go to conditions, and then we will say single condition, and then we come here, come to widget state, and then we say text field. So text field is set and not empty. This is what we should have actually done. So like this, now we can now go ahead and then start setting conditions for true or false. Okay. All right. So I think you will have to like rewatch this video and try to catch up. Right. So, and of course, don't also make mistakes with the stage that I made. All right. That's going to really benefit the people that are really in this class in real time. Otherwise, others will be practicing and making those mistakes. I'm quite sorry in advance. Okay. So what we are supposed to do now is, first of all, we are saying that the condition here is if the text field is set and not empty, is set and not empty. So if this condition is true, then we need to go ahead and update, let's add the condition and say update local state and make it false. Update local state, that's the app states. Add the field we want to update for the email state, and then I'll click on here and then set value to false. All right, it's already on false here. So then, of course, if this condition that says that text field, the text field for email is set and not empty, if the condition is not true, that means it's false. What should we do? We need to go ahead and also update the, let's see, it should work now. Update the app state to, let's go ahead and click here. Update the app state to, no, not that. Click here and set the value to true. All right. So when it is true, all right, then we will have that border. But if it is not true, okay, we will have everything working normally for us. Okay, that's like the idea. I would like us to check it out first before doing it, but let's go ahead and just implement for the password as once. You can just quickly come here and copy this, but it might be a bit complicated, I think. So let's just copy it. Copy conditional actions, and then I'll click here and then paste. I'm just pasting it at once. Okay, so come here. Okay, okay, so here we have for text field. So this was for email. Let's click on it and change it from email to where is it? Text field. We want to change this to password. Okay, so it's non-password. We confirm it's set and not empty, and then we will come here. Of course, if it's set and not empty, then it's supposed to update the app state. Let's see what we update here. So it's supposed to update the password state. So we'll come here, and what should we do? Let's just remove this and add for the password state. Okay, and then click on this, set it to what? Set the value to false. All right, and then the same thing with this particular part. Let's remove this, click, and then for password state, click, select the update type, it's set value to true. Now, and I think with these we should have our application working. If it doesn't work, okay, let's just know that we have done the right thing this time around, right? Yes, we've done the right thing this time around. It should work. So come on, what did I click on? I clicked on the wrong button. So here we should actually run it. So I'm going to just go through it one time, and then we will test it. I think by then it should be done working. So we did try to set these fields first. So like set the colors. So if you come here, right, so it says here, if this is true, then show this. All right, that's why when we are telling it that if it actually finds a text, like if the the email widgets, all right, the text field is not empty. That means if it's not empty, update the the app state and make it false. That means if it is false, don't show us the red border. But if it is true, this is where the red border is supposed to show. Okay, that's like the idea of all of the things that we have done. And we did the same thing for the text field, and then later on we went ahead and then created all of these crazy cool logical flow just to ensure that our application is working very fine. I think let's just wait it once and see the application work. I hope it works so that we can end the class. It's far ahead of our closing time. We're supposed to do this in 45 minutes, but it's longer than it was. So I hope you've been able to learn some things from this, and you'll be able to use it in your final project, because I am really looking forward to seeing you create like some amazing projects. Let's see, I'm going to type let me click on this now. All right, this is nice. I think it finally worked. So I clicked on create account, and there's nothing in here, and there's nothing in here, and that's why it showed red. That means it's empty. Okay, so what I can now do is I can just say no code Africa HQ, it's gmail.com, right? And now something is there. Of course, something is there, but it has not changed. We're not going to go about how to fill that, like to fix that. But what I want us to do now is enter a password, and then of course try to create an account. Now, when we try to create an account, everything is working now. Like it has been able to see values in the text field for email and for passwords. So everything is working properly. So now it works, guys. I hope that you have been able to understand some things. If there is a little misunderstanding of how like the whole thing worked out, you could just like rewatch the video, skip the part that I made some mistakes, and then just watch the part that we got it right. Okay, and then of course we're going to have another class which we can like pay attention to questions in the second class. The second class will be by 7 p.m. GMT +1. In the class, we will be talking more about what are we talking about? We'll be talking about conditions for your projects, right? To help you be able to properly send your users to a particular page depending on the kind of role that they are. So I will stop sharing now, and I hope that you are this. So yes, Peter, you can apply this to the influencer project. Yes. Kareem, okay. All right, so I think that's going to be the end of our tutorial. We've shoot past the time, like a lot of it, and I hope you can like go ahead and rewatch this and see how you can like apply it in your own project. All right, thank you for being part of the class, and I will see you in the next class, which is by 7 p.m. GMT +1. Do we have any questions? I can take a question or two, or we could push the question to the next class since we've already overshoot our time budget. Are we together? Can someone say something so that I'll know that we are all together? I'm waiting for responses. No responses? Okay. I think people are sleeping. All right, guys. So I am going to assume that everything is all good, and we will see in the next class, and try to see how you can implement this in your project, and all the best. Okay, great. Thank you for saying something, Kofi. All right. Have a great evening, guys. Thank you too, Joy. Emeka, thank you. Next class. Yes. Next class will be by 7 p.m. GMT. Let's do it in the next class. Have a great time, guys. Bye for now.